Okay, at 4:15, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call. Sam Martin.
Here.
Bob Freeman.
Here.
And Rick Morgan is here. We have minutes of the Selectmen's meeting which occurred on Monday, April 3rd. I make a motion we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And we have the minutes of our Selectmen's workshop and finance meeting which occurred on Monday, April 3rd. I make a motion we accept it as printed.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor? Aye. We do also have a set of minutes from January 4th, 2017, that somehow we did not sign. They are here. They were never approved, and they included guidance regarding the encumbrance of funds for the replacement of the gym floor. So I have reviewed them. Did you have an opportunity?
Yes, I did look at it.
Sam, you were not here, but I'll make a motion that we sign these minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the date is... We have the check voucher totals. Payroll for week ending 4/8 with payroll taxes was $41,630.49. Accounts payable week ending 4/1 was $76,645.86. For a total dispersed this week of $118,276.35. I make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. A continued explanation. Every bill that comes in is reviewed by the department head, who signs off on it, assigns it to which area of their budget it's supposed to come from, and we, all three, review and initial every one of them. These are the voucher totals we then have to approve, but they've all been approved 3 times before it gets to here. I think that's all of them. We have a water and sewer abatement application. It's to us, and this is on map 90, lot 1. It's an abatement which is needed because it's a property that was tax deeded. Make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have the payroll reimbursement request for the water department, amount of $3,690.63. I make a motion we approve it.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a series of 2 or 3 purchase orders, 3 of them. They're all on gravel for the highway department. These will be open purchase orders as we do projects throughout the year. The first purchase order is for Green Oak Realty Development. It's gravel products for the 2017 season. This is what was formerly the Dow Pit down on Duncan Lake. And the total amount is $15,000. I make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The second purchase order is to Evans Brothers. And this is again for gravel products for the 2017 season. This would be out of the Berry Pit, formerly the Berry Pit on Doors Corner Road, and the amount of that purchase order, open purchase order, would be $23,000. Make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And the third is to Ossipee Aggregates gravel products for the 2017 season in the amount of $23,000. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. This is a letter to the trustee of trust funds from the Board of Selectmen, and it's regarding withdrawal of Whittier Covered Bridge Expendable Trust Funds. Please issue a check to the town of Ossipee in the amount of $46,767.64 for reimbursement of the following payments on the Whittier Covered Bridge. There are 3 different payments to Hoyle Tanner Associates and 1 to White Mountain Survey. Make a motion, we sign.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We have the quarterly federal tax return, the IRS. Unfortunately, it only requires the chairman's signature, but I'll make a motion that I sign it.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. We have a notice of intent to cut wood. This is on map 65, lot 1, Route 16. It's a 30-acre cut. The owner is Monya Von Maxey. The logger is Wadsworth Woodlands from Hiram. Taxes have been paid, and make a motion we approve.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. We have a notice of intent to excavate. This is Boston Sand and Gravel. This is map 130, lot 10, 300 acres. The remaining cubic yards of earth to excavate, 8.3 million cubic yards.
That's a big hole.
That's a big hole. Tax has been paid, and make a motion we approve it.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the second one, Boston Sand and Gravel, map 266, lot 7. Remaining cubic yards of earth to excavate there are 26,808,000 cubic yards of sand and 4,163,000 cubic yards of stone.
That's a bigger hole.
That's a bigger hole. Taxes have been paid, and make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a land use change tax. This is for a property coming out of current use. It's 15 Blake Hill Road. Not sure how many acres it is, but it results in them paying $6,340 in taxes. Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Actually, that was the form to take it out. This is the tax collector's warrant to collect $6,340 from them. Make a motion we sign this. All in favor?
Aye.
We have a request for abatement. This is map 122, lot 10, sublot 20. Reason for abatement, unfortunately, we had the wrong last name for this property owner and the incorrect address, which means the incorrect person was billed for the property. Results in an $89 abatement, and make a motion we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. We have a request for abatement, and this is from Carroll County, care of the Commissioner's Office. The original assessment was $43,705. Revised assessment is $60,905 for a refund or abatement of $801.51. This is a piece of land which is not in current use, but is part of the water drainage system for the county home, which should be exempt. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Another one for Carroll County. This is at 96 Water Village Road. Our assessor recommends that an abatement be denied. It's assessed at $268,042. Our assessor said that
268.
268,042.
Thank you.
Our assessor says, I've had the opportunity to discuss this property with Commissioner Bevad. The file indicates this water delivery system should be 80% exempt and 20% taxable. There is a letter in the property record file from 2009 written by Town Assessor Dave Wiley to the County Commissioners, referencing a prorated usage amount to determine the percentage attributed to the county complex and the amount of usage attributed to the 36 private residences was served by the system. The letter references discussion between Commissioner Randy Lyman and Dave Wiley. Commissioner Lyman supplied water usage volume to determine the prorated amount. The value established in 2005 for the entire water system was $1,128,000. The resulting assessment for the taxable portion is $225,600. The land and building used by the county farm, I'm not sure if it's county farm or county farm water system, are also taxable in accordance with RSA 7223-2. Based on our assessor's recommendation, I make a motion that we deny any abatement.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. We have a request for abatement. This is on 115 Newman Drew Road. This is at Wits End Campground. Provided us with the owners and the address. They gave us the incorrect owner and address. This is an abatement of $121 to the person who was wrongly assessed. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. There's another one, this is on 7 Guile Road, reason for abatement. Had the wrong last name for this property owner, which means the incorrect person was billed. Results in a $70 abatement, or actually a refund. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. This is a excavation warrant for the tax collector to collect $0.00. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have, do you know what the deadline is for people to apply for elderly exemption?
April 15th.
Okay. For those who may be watching at home, we're getting ready to deal with a couple of them, but the deadline is April 15th for anybody who may be qualified for the elderly exemption to come in and file. Please, please, please do if you are qualified. But even if you're not sure if you're qualified, come in and apply, and they'll help you out at the tax collector's office.
Assessing office.
Assessing office, I'm sorry, Selectmen's office. This first one is for an elderly exemption. It's been through our assessor. They meet the qualifications. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. For obvious reasons, we don't discuss the person's name in public for those who are veterans. We have a request for military exemption, veterans exemption. So this is a surviving spouse. Assessor has reviewed the record and it is okay. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have one here that is for a veterans exemption. And it's been reviewed by our assessor and he has recommended that we deny it. This person did not serve during a qualifying event. There are certain dates that entitle a person to be a veterans exemption and no qualifying medals. I make a motion that we deny this.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
We have, on a yearly basis, I think it's a yearly, we have to appoint our health officer and deputy health officer. Ellen White, the town administrator, has historically been the town administrator and the zoning enforcement officer, so this form would reappoint Ellen White as our health officer and would newly appoint Steve McConaty, who is now our zoning officer, as the deputy health officer. I make a motion that we sign this form and submit.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
It's a 3-year appointment.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
We have a letter to approve. This is consistent with what we've done in the recent past. I know we did it last year, maybe the year before. And this will go out to people who are approaching, are actually in the danger zone, but are approaching that 3-year back taxes. And this is a letter that will go out from the tax collector's office by us, and it's to the taxpayer. The selectmen of the town of Ossipee are required to continuously address the issue of unpaid property taxes in an effort to better serve all taxpayers. We have determined that some changes need to be made when entering into a payment agreement with taxpayers who are delinquent with their property taxes. 1, taxpayers are required by law to pay property taxes to support municipal services in our community. When they fall behind on their property taxes, it shifts the burden onto their neighbors who do pay their taxes to keep the local community running. As your selectmen, we do not want to create any additional hardship on a taxpayer, but your taxes must be paid. To ensure everyone pays their fair share, we have established the following policy. Payment plans will normally be authorized on a taxpayer's property that they reside in only. Payment plans will not normally be authorized on land-only lots or land and/or buildings that the property owner does not reside in. Payment plans must include not only the year of delinquent taxes to prevent the tax collector from issuing a tax collector's deed, but also the current year's taxes plus interest to prevent the taxpayer from continuing to accrue new tax debt. Should the taxpayer fail to meet their obligation as agreed to with the Board of Selectmen, the Selectmen will have no other alternative than to instruct the tax collector to issue a tax collector's deed to the subject property to the town of Ossipee. I'll make a motion that we sign this to be included.
Second.
Any discussion? No. The only thing I want to add is that we, as a matter of habit, you'll see from many of these meetings, we end up going into non-public session with our tax collector. We do work diligently with people who are behind to get them on payment schedule, to do whatever we can to not have to take somebody's property. That is the absolute last thing that I want to do, and I'm sure that's true of the other two. But in fairness to everybody, the taxes do have to be paid. There's 2 things they say we can be honestly sure of, and that's death and taxes. And we got to pay them. But we will continue to work with everybody as best we can. This is a selectmen's deed. This is on a piece of property which we actually took for taxes. Thankfully, that owner has got into a position to be able to buy it back, which is a good thing. If the town does take a property by taxes, there are certain time limitations where they can repurchase it. They have to pay all the penalties and all of that, but either way, we're glad that they got back to them. I make a motion we sign this.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
This is a timber tax warrant for a tax collector to collect $856.43. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have the highway department work log here in the folder for anybody to look at if they'd like. We have a recycling center cash log for the month of March. We collected $2,730.95. There is a very long, it's here for anybody that wants to look at it or wants a copy of it, but this is addressed to us. It's copies of the public hearing a transcript of the public hearing which was held here at Town Hall regarding Route 16. And the bridges, yeah. So it's here if anybody would like to look at it. We received a thank you letter from the Freedom Food Pantry, and it's addressed to the Selectmen, the Budget Committee, and Ossipee voters. The letter comes to express our gratitude to the Selectmen, Budget Committee, and Ossipee voters for making the decision to continue funding support for the Freedom Food Pantry in the amount of $8,000 for the year 2017. And it goes on to talk about some of the things that are facing people that are causing them to use the food, the pantries. This is a holdover from last week, and it's on the sale of railroad property that they're looking for us to sign off on. Did either of you have a chance to review that?
No, I was busy with something else.
I don't have any earthly idea whether we should take a position on this or not. I've read it twice. It involves the old freight house and a piece of land. This is the old freight
Right.
house and a piece of land which sits adjacent to it,
Which is not very much.
which is not very much, but it is looking to be purchased by an abutter. I don't see any reason for the town to have any interest in it, do you?
I don't.
Then I'm gonna make a motion that actually, I don't think we have to do anything. I think we have a certain date to respond. We have a certain date by which to respond, or else they just proceed. So I'm gonna make a motion that we don't take any action on this. All in favor? Aye. We have a notice of decision. It's case number 17-2-SPR, it's Irving Energy, Route 16B, and it's for the conditional approval for the site plan review for the addition of a 30,000-gallon underground propane tank. Which there are conditions pending, full set of stamped plans or permits, plans to include drainage around tank, plans for school scaled tank design with support pad anchors and other details. But if anybody has any issue, that is here. That concludes the red folder. Old business. Anything new, Brett, on 28-171?
Nope, haven't heard anything on that.
Okay. On the hazardous and dilapidated buildings, which we actually in our workshop got an update from our zoning officer. We did finally get a court order on the Bay Point Road property. But we're working with the owner who's actually going in there and I think gonna get it cleaned up before we have to take it down. The other one, we're waiting for still a court order on the other one, which is what's the name of that road? Danville Road. We're still waiting on that. Nine Doors Corner Road is done. I believe we can take that off from the agenda at this point. Anything on the covered bridge, Brad?
No, I did, after I spoke to you earlier, I also tried to reach out to Hoyle Tanner on the cell phone. No answer there, as I'm assuming he's probably in a meeting somewhere like that
Okay.
today, but I do know they have that, they know that's high on our priority list to get that information on the mitigation part that and he knows our stance on it too,
Okay.
so.
All right. All right. Anything
When are we
else?
gonna see stuff start being done on that, Brad? Well, the preliminary design has been done, as I said it a couple meetings ago. And actually, the DOT did send a letter out last week saying they've conditionally approved the preliminary design pending approval from DES on the wetlands permits part. Once that part goes through, then they can go into final design, which they'll submit that in for their review, then it can go out to bid, so. Timeframes, I don't know what, the DES is gonna take on this stuff.
Well, wasn't the time frame that we were working off to have it going out to bid in March?
I thought it was June, but they had it
Okay.
up to June last time we saw that schedule. So I know Hoyle here is still striving to shoot for that, but, depending on these review sessions and stuff there as to what is gonna actually happen. I know they've been working hard on their end to
Are
speed
you
up the
taking
process.
bets yet on whether or not it goes back across the river in 2017?
No.
Okay, just checking.
I believe work will be started on it before
Yeah.
the end of 2017. I don't think the actual bridge would get over it in 17, no.
Okay. Any other old business?
I don't.
Ken?
No, I don't know if it comes under new business or old business.
The only other old business I've got is on the vacancies on our conservation.
So I want to address that, and seeing as nobody's here, I'd like to address that first. Do you have a problem with that?
Do it first.
Huh?
Do that first?
Yeah.
I don't care.
On the Conservation Commission audio from November 9th, 2016, there were some relatively egregious statements and disparaging remarks made by several of the members. Mr. Parsons was relaying information regarding the ADUs, and he mentions ties, then states so that, mentions the ties, and then states our delightful members, the two of who I won't mention, laughter from the board, jumped up and said, well, there are going to be petition articles put in and you won't like the way they are worded unless we do something. Nothing got done, so I guess we'll have petition articles coming in that we won't like the wording of. Gridley, your own board's threatening you? Parsons, yes. Gridley, okay, I just wanted to be sure I understand that. Parsons, not our own board. We actually have only 2 members that do that all the time. Audubon, your vocal members. A speaker, I can't recognize all the voices because I can't see them. Well, one is vocal, the other one is kind of hush, and the board broke out in laughter. And I'm sure that they were referring to Mr. Billings' difficulty speaking. It's a terrible, Parsons says it's a terrible thing to say, and the speaker says, yeah, well. Adams, so they're bringing the petition or somebody else's. Parsons, they said somebody else. There have been 2 guys who have been dying to get more than 1 dwelling unit per lot because they wanted to do it. So the funny thing was, Steve brings up that there's 2 guys on the board that have a personal interest and he wants to poll. At this point, Mr. Parsons starts shouting, imitating Mr. Billings, that you can't do it, rah, 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 and those were his words. I'm getting mad, and then the board burst out in laughter again. And I'm reading this because I find that the Conservation Commission's audio meetings are beyond despicable. I find that the people on the board, or on the commission, are disrespectful not only to the selectmen, but to other members of the public and to other members of their fellow boards. So rah, 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 I'm getting mad, and then general laughter. So that is a direct quote. How did I do? Then it goes into general discussion around the board, making fun of a board member. God damn, if you can't do that. Parsons goes on to state, but our golden boys want to have 2 separate detached per lot. Laura goes on to explain detached. Parsons, but Beavis and Butthead wanted to put, and I couldn't hear the rest because the laughter was so loud. Adams to Laura, have you turned off your recorder? General laughter around the board. Someone stated, oh, that was so funny, as Parsons continues to belittle planning board members. Gridley belittles the budget committee for questioning the budget items. There are a few people on the budget committee who can't read a spreadsheet. Audubon, that's a good place to be on the budget committee. Gridley, exactly. Parsons, we don't have a spreadsheet in this town. It all goes out and never comes back as far as you're concerned. Gridley, economic development. We are working on our website, mission statement, bylaws, list of activities, history. Audubon interjects. Are these outdoor activities? These are not events. They don't require site plan. General laughter again. Gridley, you don't have to go through site plan review. General laughter again. Audubon discusses the selectmen have not yet appointed him to a board or committee. And I'm not sure what that committee was because several people were speaking. He states that he has not rocked any boats with the selectmen yet. Gridley, it's only a matter of time. Audubon, well, yeah. Adams, read the bid. He's talking about the bid for mowing. Because it's over $500, it needs to go out to bid. Selectmen are still dibbling on getting a bid out, but it's probably too late this year anyway to pull this stuff. And he's talking about the weeds. It's going to be next spring. If they're complaining about getting it pulled, well, they haven't been on the ball, so tough luck. I guess we haven't heard anything back from the selectmen. Audubon, that was because he, and he's talking about Ralph Buchanan, proposed a set fee and it was over what the town allows. Adams, no, it's because it's a conflict of interest. Discuss conflict of interest for Ralph to be mowing. Parsons suggests pull him off the board for a week. Town policy is over $500. It has to be put out to bid. State of New Hampshire policy is $200 if the person is a member of the organization. Audubon, even if it's under $500. Suggests if you were to turn around and say to Ralph, do this section here, which is $195, and each one is a separate section, and general laughter from the board one more time, which I find is just so disrespectful to the taxpayers of this town to try to bilk them out of their money this way. And the speaker, I don't know who this was. We need to somehow carefully, I am thinking that maybe somehow the Conservation Commission wants to join the Dan Hole Watershed Trust and perhaps give some money in dues. Maybe a donation of $500. Not a donation because we can't do that, I don't think, but we could join and give them a $500 dues payment. This is a transcript of this audio. I have not put any words in here except the boards, the commissions. Discussion and vote on the Dan Hole Watershed Trust purchase of the Chickatelli property. Speaker, so the Dan Hole Watershed Trust is purchasing that whole property. That's awesome. New speaker, well, there are going to be a lot of expenses, and that's why I'm saying we need to make some sort of dues payment or something that won't get us in trouble with the selectmen. They flat out lied here last week to Chairman Morgan, sorry. Adams, well, are you making the motion? Speaker, I'm not sure how to word it. I could use some expertise from my fellow board members here. Could we get in trouble with personal donations, right? Adams, a membership donation. Speaker, that's what I'm thinking. I would like to buy a membership in Dan Hole Watershed Trust for $500. Adams, to come from our own conservation checking account. I couldn't understand the comment that was made after that, but the board burst out one more time in laughter. Speaker, there cannot be the word donation in there, is what you're saying. Adams, correct. Speaker, I don't think we get in trouble. Didn't we get in trouble for donating to Fish and Game once? Wasn't that the last thing? Moved and seconded. Comment, it probably won't even cover the survey, but it will take out a little of the sting. This is one of your boards that's speaking about not only the taxpayer, but other board members in public at a public meeting. And because nobody's watching, as Mr. Adams said to me last December, I called him on this, I called him on this meeting, and he said, we're the bottom of the totem pole, nobody pays any attention to us, so we can do what we want. I rest.
Okay. I'm hoping to put this behind us.
It makes two of us.
It is what it is at this point, I guess. I'm disappointed. I feel the same way I felt about what I thought was shenanigans with the build-out study. I was taught at a very young age, the ends don't justify the means. I don't care how good an organization they are, as far as who they're donating to, that really, it just misses the point. Anyway.
Can I interject for 1 second? Can I have this made as part of the minutes?
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to make this part of the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. We do, as far as moving on to old business, we do have vacancies on the Conservation Commission. There are 3 people who are currently on the Conservation Commission whose time has expired. That would be Ron Adams, Donna Gridley, and Ralph Buchanan, who are all recommended for reappointment by Conservation Commission. We have, in response to our request and advertising, 5 additional people who are interested. Julianne Rosiak, Marie McConerty, Joseph Deegan, Roy Barron, and Laurie Pendavis. We have the 3 positions which are currently open. There is 1 additional that remains open and has been open for a while, and there are 2 alternates. We have not had more than 6 members of the board for quite some time, I don't think. It's a 7-member board with 2 alternates. I'm going to make a motion that we return Ralph Buchanan for 3 years. and that we add,
Let's do one at a time.
all right, so I'm gonna make a motion to
Second.
return Ralph Buchanan to the Conservation Commission for
I'll
3 years.
second that.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I make a motion?
You can.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Julie Rosiak to the position that's currently open and unfilled, and I don't know how long that term is.
I believe it would be the one expiring in 2019.
To the term expiring in 2019.
Okay,
I'll second that.
any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have 2 more open positions, correct?
Huh?
I make a motion that we appoint Maria McConaty to fill one of the positions that's now vacant.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
Good.
I'd make a motion that we appoint Joe Deegan to a 3-year term
An open position.
in open position.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye. Now,
That leaves us 2 remaining, which is Roy Barron and Lori Pendavis, and I'm gonna make a motion that both of them be appointed as alternates.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
I'm going to suggest that, we
I
have
will
the,
attend that meeting on Wednesday night.
okay? I'm going to suggest that we, have the administrator compile a letter to Ron Adams and Donna Gridley thanking them for their service.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
If you would compile that we can sign next week.
Do they have to be sworn in before Wednesday?
Do they would have to be sworn in before Wednesday? Who would? Okay. So,
So we could contact them by phone.
okay. All right. Any other new business? Under, something else under new business, cemetery lot availability.
Roy Barron wasn't able to make the meeting, but he was contacted by a woman that owns, I believe, 2 lots down on the 171 cemetery, and she no longer needs them, so she wants to know if the town has any interest in repurchasing them. I believe there's only 1 available lot left in that cemetery. It's either that or she can offer it up for grabs if anybody has any interest in being buried down there or purchasing a cemetery lot. So he wanted to run that by you and
Well, I
see
think,
what your thoughts were.
my first question is, are they 2 individual lots that are part of somebody else's family? I mean,
It
is
was
it,
a husband and wife. They ended up moving to, I believe it was Moulton Borough, so the husband ended up being buried there, and she bought a plot over there as well to be buried with him.
okay, so, I mean, as long as it's something that can be turned around and resold, I don't have any objection to it, I
Yeah,
don't
not
know.
part of a family plot.
Huh?
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
not part of a
No,
family
you don't,
plot,
I
right?
mean,
Yeah,
I don't mean
exactly.
to sound funny, but,
So do you want me to get more information on that?
Please.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, that's my thought, you wanna add anything?
No.
Okay. I actually screwed up, because we didn't have it on here. I should have opened up earlier for public input too, but it's on there. Public input, anybody? Connie?
Number 1, April 15th on Saturday, so you have to put it to Monday for the veterans.
Oh, for veterans.
The 17th is due. Number 2, are you going, if you buy those lots back, at what price? The present price or what they pay?
I would
Or
say
what they paid.
I think we'll have to figure that out once we get some more information on it, but,
Because,
Yeah, we should buy
you
them.
know, the paperwork alone is $25.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And any fees that occurred, recording or anything, don't those have to be re-recorded now, if we bring them back?
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, so any fees, that need to be associated with that.
You gotta record them back to the town, and then the town has to resell them, record them again.
Okay. Anything else on the public input? Yes, Brad?
I just have
Sorry.
two other quick things. One is to announce that on Saturday, April 22nd, will be our Earth Day.
Yes.
That our transfer station will be open for the residents of Ossipee to bring in their goods at free of charge for tires, furniture, that type of stuff that normal fees for. We do have information available now on it. The banner is set up over there. Let people know that as they come into the transfer station. So, just wanted
Hope
to
the
put that out.
snow's gone.
You and me both.
But,
And then,
and we do still plan on doing a second one in the fall.
fall, too.
But it is a great opportunity for people to get their yards cleaned up, clean out the attic or whatever, and avoid a lot of those fees. So we certainly do hope that people take advantage of it.
Keep it off our roadsides.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I just wanted to mention too was everybody knows on Thursday night we had pretty heavy rains around town here. And I just wanted to, commend the highway department for, taking upon themselves to go out and checking roads, especially Billy here. They ended up catching a potential severe washout down on the lower end of Foggs Ridge Road, down by Ted Bateman's house. They were able to contain the water, keep it in the ditch line, and open up the ditch line further down to keep the water in there from washing up the road. As it was, it only took about 1 or 2 loads of gravel to dress the road back up with at the end, otherwise it would have been thousands of dollars worth of damage and gravel we would have had to buy to do it. So I want to commend Billy and the highway department for the
And
work they did on that.
I couldn't agree more. Billy, I'm glad you're here, but I mean, we do thank you, and I've had no qualms whatsoever. I think you do a great job as foreman down there, I really do. But it certainly pass on to the guys our thanks, because, and I was talking with Brad actually earlier before the meeting, I frequently was stopped down, and all of that preventative work that we've been doing over the last several years, in particular with water drainage and ditching, and it pays dividends. I mean, I can remember years ago, Billy remembers years ago, you've been there a long time as well, that, I mean, we used to lose roads left and right with major storms. I mean, when I say lose roads, I can remember down in Granite, down in Foggs Ridge Road, I mean, I can remember that 100 feet of that road washing out 10 feet deep. I can't even imagine how many loads of gravel it took to rebuild that road. Blake Hill is another one we used to lose frequently. And, all that preventative work, and it's somewhat mundane out there doing ditches and rim rock and culverts, but it has paid us tremendous dividends. We have some pretty major storms now, and we very rarely, knock on some wood quick, but we very rarely lose a road. All that preventative work makes a huge difference. I think there was a time when we had our highway guys doing too much construction work. I mean, they were building too many things, and that's all well and good, but that maintenance work, that somewhat drudgery stuff of getting out there and cleaning those culverts and cleaning the ditches and getting the leaves out of them and all of that stuff has to get done. If it doesn't get done, you end up with tens of thousands of dollars in damage from a single storm, so. But I certainly appreciate it, and please pass our thanks on to the guys that we do recognize. It's not always easy to get called back out in the evening, especially in the middle of the storm, to clean ditches, but their efforts, I'm sure, saved an awful lot of money.
Sure did.
And we appreciate it.
I'd like to say thanks to Billy too. I see him out there wee hours of the morning before his guys even get to work, checking roads and doing things. He does an excellent job. Not only you guys do an excellent job, but I give you an extra pat on the back, Bill. I see it, I know it. And I thank you very much for your hard work.
Thank you.
How are the library repairs coming?
They're done.
They're done?
It looks great.
Super.
Nice.
So, you're all happy down there?
Oh, yeah.
No needs, no nothing? Woo!
Wait a minute. She hesitated.
Sidewalks.
That you may be a while on, but we've got the roof done, and now we've got the water damage inside done,
Yeah.
so good, good. Everything come out good down there, Brad?
Yeah, it did.
Good.
Really did.
I did forget to sign the 2 things that we have to sign for the water department. Actually, 1 thing. Oh, there's 2 things. We have a water and sewer warrant. The tax collector to collect $2,282.25. Make a motion we sign.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And we have the voucher total for water and sewer, includes payroll, health insurance, life insurance, system maintenance, professional fees,
the amount of $6,224.44. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anything else under public input? May I help you, sir? You just here to observe, or?
Commissioner Babson asked me to come. He had called me on Saturday with a bunch of questions about the budget, and so I decided that I would come because he asked me to do so. I'm Representative Marsh.
Okay,
If you guys have any questions, you can ask me questions. If not, I'm just happy to.
okay. I didn't know you were coming, but you're certainly welcome, but I don't know of any particular questions.
That's good. I wasn't sure that he was correct in his assessment, but I had the time and I was willing to come.
Okay. Ed, anything this week? Nothing?
I'd like to
I,
see.
I did forward, I think this is about what Commissioner Babson was here talking about, the wood over the fence issue with the
Yes.
inmates? Is that what it was?
He didn't mention the wood, no. He was talking about the budget. He was talking about ratification of elections. I knew more about the ratification of elections than the budget. The budget's confusing.
And I must commend you again for following the law.
We did.
He's
We did.
moderator of Brookfield.
There was a bill that's, for a while, it looked like we might have to ratify the school district election because New Durham postponed. I tried to make sure that if that passed, that we wouldn't have to do that, but it turned out not passing on a 10-10 tie vote. So it became a non-issue.
The two issues that Commissioner Babson brought up was my comment about the 2.5 inmates annual being used, 2.5, and the wood over the fence issue about bagging wood, that if you're sentenced, you can work to do wood, but if you're not sentenced, that you can't. But if you're on the other side of the fence, they were bringing wood into the fence. And I did send out that video of the farm tour where that information was disseminated to basically answer that that was the actual answer to that was correct, the
Okay.
2.5 per year.
Okay.
Okay, that was
All right. Can I ask you one other question since you're out here? Being that you are so well versed in the right to know law,
sure.
this, what was brought up last week, and actually the letter the article that was printed in the Carroll County Independent made it sound like we should have discussed all of this matter in a non-public session.
Can we get background on what you're talking about?
I'm talking about the issue with the Conservation Commission and bringing out the expenditure, what we thought was an inappropriate expenditure by the Conservation Commission. I looked at that very closely, and the reason I asked you to be here is it's kind of double check myself. I don't think there's any portion of that which could have rightfully been conducted outside of the public eye. Am I?
In reference to making a motion to transfer money out of an account?
No, I'm talking about me in particular, calling out the Conservation Commission about what I thought was an inappropriate expenditure.
They're appointed by you, so I would think they would fall under the same criteria as a public official. So that does not fall under 91A, where it would be non-public. It might be a gray line, but I really don't see that.
Well, and the reason I say that is I don't think it's gray at all. I mean, I think that if it were an employer issue, it's a different story. But there's nothing under 901A that I could see that would have permitted any discussion about that whole subject to have been conducted in anything but a public meeting. And
No, I think that's correct. It should
Okay.
be transparent. If it was a member of the public or an employee, that would be under non-public.
there's a potential damage to reputation, et cetera, et cetera. Correct.
Whenever you're discussing public transfer of money or a board that's appointed by the selectmen, you're a public official. You're sworn in, you're a public official, and you are subject to 91A. For instance, if I put a 91A request in, either verbal or in writing, to get that audio for that meeting, I should be able to do so. Now, that's the quickest 91A request and that I ever received. And I didn't.
We aim to please.
And I didn't,
We aim to please.
and I didn't have to pay for it either.
Not yet.
Listen, and I'm not trying to make light of this. In all sincerity, I mean, some of the members of the Conservation Commission were upset with us. The article in the paper, which I thought was a little slanted, whichever. I've got wide shoulders and thick skin, but it wasn't that I was trying to call somebody out unduly in a public forum. I think it absolutely had to, by law, be conducted in a public forum. And it wouldn't have been an appropriate use under 91A if trying to do it non-public. That's all I'm saying. You know, it wasn't, you know, when you choose to throw your hat in the ring to be a public official, then I think you're governed by a different set of standards, and rightfully so.
If you had asked me my advice on what would be the best impact for production quality for video, I would have said, I would say bring everybody into this meeting and read that in person while the members are here. So they have, see right now, they're at a disadvantage because you're reading something, we have not heard it, you don't know, by taking it out of context, the words may not be exactly what happened. Maybe they are, but I would have rather have had them be here so they could have
So would I.
responded
I
after.
would absolutely would rather have them be here.
Yeah, so I would have been
But
able to
that's
capture what they
transcribed,
said.
so.
Okay,
Okay, that's it.
thank you.
I'd like to make one public comment.
Okay.
In light of what I read, I would respectfully ask that Mr. Otterbach and Mr. Parsons voluntarily resign their positions on the commission. I'm not looking for any answers, I'm just asking that, I just wanted them in public on the camera.
Okay, so you're not making you're not, all right, okay. All right. Anything else on the public input? We do have a need for non-public, and there's actually two different ones, but,
Only one now. We don't need the tax matter discussed.
okay, tax matter's been taken off, good. We do have a need to go into non-public session under RSA 91A32A, which is on a personnel matter. Poll the board, Sam Martin,
Yes.
Bob Freeman?
Yes.
And Rick Morgan, yes. We will return as soon as we can. Thank you.
Oh, everybody left?
Yeah, they banded us. All right, call us back into public session.
Second?
Last reminder is April 22nd, Earth Day, Free Dump Day,
I need to get,
whatever you want to call it.
what's your name?
Anything else? Anything, Ed?
Lisa Sandeka.
Well, I'll mention it, but I think you were actually left it up to me, because I came up with an idea about after Earth Day and everybody, you know, empties out their garage, why not have a
Townwide yard
citywide
sale.
yard sale for those items that they did
I
not
still think
throw
it's a
out?
great idea, I just don't know. how we gotta come up with a group before October to run. I think it's a great idea.
Well, I wonder if the Economic Development Committee would like that, because that brings people into town. And then you have restaurants, you have other
Yep.
things that people could go to.
Yeah.
And then usually the Earth Days after, or the free dump days afterwards.
Yeah.
Because usually everything's.
So we're doing another one in October, which that would be there's still plenty of time to, I think it's a wonderful idea. It's just getting somebody or some group to I don't have any time to organize it.
Yeah.
Either EDC or the Main Street project, perhaps.
Oh, you.
It's a good time to,
EDC.
it's a good method to, talk to your neighbors.
Yeah.
It's when people start to walk around and start to
Oh,
talk.
and it's the ultimate recycling. I mean, the old adage, one man's garbage is another man's trash. It's the ultimate form of
It might go
recycling.
from one house to another.
That's
but
okay.
Somebody could do something.
You know, but that's that much less that you're putting in the landfill too. So, and we're much less that we're hauling off and,
Who's the, contact
For economic development,
and the,
Ash-
Ash Fishbein, and I think Pat Jones is the acting director for Main Street.
okay, I'll look them up and.
yeah, awesome.
Don't
For
agree
next
with
year.
I think it's a great idea. All right, the non-public was for personnel matter, and for the record, those minutes were sealed. If anybody has anything else, I'm gonna make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.